Great bird for Wisconsin. We had better looks in Arizona, but with the branches in the way, we'll take what we can get.
One of the driving forces in the world of birding is scarcity. The birds that have the lowest numbers in a particular area are almost always the most desirable to see. Birds can be rare for many different reasons, sometimes because they simply have a low population density, and sometimes because they end up outside of their normal range, even though they may be common elsewhere. Today, we're on a mission to see as many rare birds as possible in a 12-hour span.
Good morning, everybody. Brian and I are doing a 12-hour rarity chase. So we're going to see how many rare birds we can find in 12 hours in Wisconsin. We're counting this as anything that's listed as rare on eBird as like an individual bird. So there was like 100 cackling geese that got flagged as rare, so like we're not counting that. It just has to be like one particular bird. And we'll see how many rarities we can tick off today in 12 hours.
We started driving during the night en route to our first destination. Here, we hope to relocate the rarest bird in the state at the time.
It's getting light out, so there's definitely some anticipation to see if our first target is here. A beautiful painted redstart. There's going to be a lot of people out looking today, so I think we'll get reports to know if it's there pretty quickly. It's kind of an area where you show up and then you have to walk a ways in, and it's a really cool place called Spring Green, which is Wisconsin's desert pretty much.
With the sun finally able to illuminate the landscape, we arrived at our first destination along with our friend, an incredibly good birder Nathaniel, who we dubbed eBird Guy and Checklist Man since he was in charge of eBirding everything.
Alright, we're starting out at Spring Green. Lots of birds singing early in the morning. Tufted titmouse, meadowlark, and beautiful view. A little chilly today, so like herp activity is going to be low, but bird activity seems high, so hopefully we can hear the redstart singing and then track it down.
As we took the long walk from the parking lot to the spot where the bird had been seen the prior day, we noted many new spring arrivals, including a singing vesper sparrow, brown thrasher, and tons of field sparrows. We were surprised when we also spotted a purple finch in this area that must have just been passing through. After crossing the arid landscape for a while, we entered into a more forested habitat. Here, we heard what we believe to be the calls of the painted redstart, emanating from a large leafed-out tree. After spending a lot of time trying to get a look at the bird through the branches, we finally got confirmation that it was in fact our target bird.
We have the redstart. Really awesome bird to see with that red on the stomach and the black and the little white features, but it is just way high up in this tree, and it's actually been chasing away some yellow-rumped warblers from this leafed-out tree, so we assume that there's some kind of food it's eating and is protecting that territory. So cool behavior to watch, and a great bird for Wisconsin. We had better looks in Arizona, but with the branches in the way, we'll take what we can get.
We watched the redstart for a while as it flitted around in the canopy, occasionally giving us short views through the open branches. We were even joined by our friend Bill, who was also quite excited about the find. Bill, you got a state bird.
Oh, this is fantastic. We're living today.
This is the first time I've seen you out of your house in years.
Oh, better than being in my house, better than being at work. This is really living.
One rarity down. Maybe two. I don't know if purple finch is rare for this area.
We'll have to have our eBird guy take a look at that and see if there's any rarity that we missed, but we at least have one on the board. And now we're going to see if there's anything interesting in some flooded fields in this area too. We started making our way back to the car, picking up eastern bluebirds and a rotund-looking meadowlark, feeling a lot lighter than we did on the walk in. I feel super relieved having gotten the painted redstart because that was the major one that we wanted to get today, and now I just feel relaxed, which is probably actually bad because I'm not pressing anymore to go see stuff, but it's a good feeling to be able to just take that nice leisurely walk back.
Made a quick coffee stop, gas station run, and feeling excited because we got that redstart, and now we are going to look for some Hudsonian Godwits. Apparently they were seen earlier today, so that's a great sign, and it'll be about 15 minutes out from here, so hopefully we'll be able to get our second rare bird of the day.
That's a great feeling when you get the report that it's still there. and hopefully they stick longer. They've been there like 2.5 or 3 days, so that's good news for us. We arrived at the flooded fields where the Godwits had been reported and started scanning. The birds were way farther out than we anticipated, so it was extremely hard to pick out a Godwit. But eventually, Nathaniel locked in on one, and we added a second rare bird for the day.
Got the Godwits, was super far out, and now we're going to try for Eurasian Wigeon. There's a bunch of different options we could take, but this is one of the cooler ones to go see, so we're going to head north.
We made it to the place the Eurasian Wigeon had been reported and started checking through all of the distant birds. There were many different waterfowl and marsh species present at this location, but the Wigeon was nowhere to be found.
First big miss of the day with that Eurasian Wigeon. Took up a lot of time to go out of our way to try to find it. Would have been a cool one to see, but we're going to try to rebound with something easy. It's a bird that's like not actually rare, but it's considered rare at the time, so it counts for our challenge that we're doing. Hopefully we can just swing by, get that one real quick, get the momentum back up, and then keep cruising.
I feel like max, like what would be a good number for us would be like 5 rare birds.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Yeah, I mean the Painted Redstart was massive. That's the biggest rarity in the state right now for sure. So that was good, and now we're kind of just trying to get that number up. But I'm happy with the 2 rare birds we found.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I feel like after the Redstart I was kind of like, yeah, whatever else we get is a bonus. So
Kinda,
even though
yeah.
we're doing the challenge, it was kind of like...
It felt like we found like 15 rare birds. I was like, yeah, we're doing so good, and I was like, oh, we've got 2. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of other birds and a lot of first-of-year birds as well, so that makes it feel better, I think. Next, we went to Goose Pond, a hotspot known for many different water birds, especially geese. On this day, however, the birds we were hoping to see never made an appearance. Goose Pond was a big disappointment because the gimme bird that we thought we were going to have was tundra swan, and there are none to be found anywhere. We did pick up some dunlin, we got some views of yellowlegs, some new geese species for the day, but nothing rare here.
For rarities, Goose Pond was a big
Goose egg.
May have just caught a break because Cackling Goose is actually getting flagged as rare, which is kind of surprising because I saw it yesterday, somebody had like 100 and I thought it was the number. But it seems like that's going to count for our rarities. So even though we missed the swans, we got the goose. So that'll still count towards our total. And it's a good bird for this time of year.
Happy to pick up a lucky 3rd rare bird of the day. We moved on to one of the most popular warbler destinations in the state to try for a yellow-throated warbler. However, we ran into some issues trying to get in.
Showed up at a place called Pheasant Branch Conservancy, and we're kind of getting mixed signals because people have been reporting birds here, but the trail looks closed, but then there's signs that say proceed with caution, and then another one that says trail closed, so we don't know if we can even get on it. So we're going to try to go to the other side, see if we can find a place to enter and figure out if it's actually even open.
Eventually we found an access point and started the search. It is quite birdy here. There's a lot of noises coming from both sides of the trail. There's some sparrows. There was a house wren calling. Hopefully we can find that yellow-throated warbler, and hopefully it's still around in a place we can actually see it. There were many different species foraging along the river, and at first we didn't see the yellow-throated warbler. But eventually, Nathaniel and I got eyes on it while Derek was further down the trail.
I headed further down the path to check it out, and Ryan and Nathaniel just said they had it, so that's great. I got distracted by some white suckers, fish that live in the river here. They're in their spawning colors, so it's cool to see the 3 of them swim around. We're gonna go get the warbler.
Here, come here. It's feeding on our side of the bank. You can't see it right now. It's like right down in there, and it should pop out any minute now. But Nathaniel saw it, and then we kept an eye on it to make sure it's right there. We've got to set the record straight on how when I called you and told you about it, you were just like, oh, okay. What was the deal with that?
I knew you guys would find it.
You're just like,
It was the confidence.
After getting exceptional views of this beautiful southeastern warbler species, we continued on our route.
We are leaving Pheasant Branch Conservancy. This was probably like the place we had the best views all day of just warblers and kinglets right in front of us. It was really tough to pull away from this spot. But we got a few more things to check out. Hopefully we can pick up a few more rare birds.
What are we at, 4?
We're at 4, as far as I know, unless like pine warbler's rare or something. But
Probably not.
so I think I'd be happy if we can make it up to at least 5. But I think maybe we have 6 in us. So
Got some good species though. Like it hasn't been a lot of just like, oh, I've seen that, but now it's rare.
I mean, like Painted Redstart, Hudsonian Godwit, Yellow-throated Warbler, like those are all solid, beautiful species. So.
And then Cackling Goose.
Cackling Goose, you know, can't forget him. Not as colorful, but cute. A solid bird, sturdy, good foundation.
7 out of 10. We made a few stops at small ponds, finding many Bonaparte skulls, as well as a calling Henslow's sparrow, but nothing considered rare for this time of the year. Eventually, we ended up at a field that would be a potential opportunity to add rarity number 5.
We're at what is likely our final location here, this field that's actually open for public access to walk through, and there's been some Smith's Longspurs reported here. So I was actually here the other day and we found Laplands but no Smiths, so it's kind of could be a redemption story, but basically we just have to walk and hope to kick some up and then identify them when they land. Hopefully they land in a place where you can actually see them, but you would really never know there's actually anything out here without walking and seeing.
I think it's a needle in a haystack situation. I'll be very impressed if we find it, but it would be a really good bird. We walked out into the open field, keeping our eyes peeled for any birds moving around in the corn stubble. I feel like this is one of those eclectic birding experiences that is just so strange to be wandering around a field hoping to kick up some birds and then make a needle in a haystack positive ID, but it's what makes it fun, because why else would you do this? With the help of some other birders, including Steve, the original finder of the Smith's Longspurs, we tracked down a large flock of Lapland Longspurs. We spent a lot of time watching them, amazed at how well they stayed camouflaged in the field. With time winding down, we noticed a few birds that looked a bit different than the Laplands. We locked on to one of them, and it turned out to be our target bird, the Smith's Longspur.
That was wild. We were like just kind of getting ready to go, and we were looking at like the ID features, and one is like the little white shoulder patch, and like just there I was like, that one has a white shoulder patch. It was a Smith's, like a male Smith's. So that was like a last minute lifer and 5th rare bird of the day. So that's solid.
That's not a lifer for you.
Oh yeah, it's not a lifer. For that guy.
Last minute lifer! He's on camera. Last minute lifer. That was great. That was exciting.
That was awesome.
With almost all of the Longspurs taking off and our time nearly elapsed, we headed back home.
It's officially past 5:18, so that wraps up our day looking for rare birds, but we got 5 quality rarities. It was really fun to be out. It's weird ending when it's still light, but that's just kind of the way we decided to do it today. It would be fun to kind of take the whole day and see, you know, what we could find, but I think that was pretty solid for 12 hours. Thoughts?
I think that we're going to have to do this again pretty soon because it was really fun. And we kind of bird like this anyway to an extent, but now we've really focused on the rarities and had a game plan, and it was fun to check them off the list as we got them. Big miss was the Eurasian Wigeon. I don't think anyone's reported it today. And I really think that out of all the people that went birding, we probably had the best day in Wisconsin out of anyone. It turned out to be an absolutely fantastic day of birding, with 5 rarities found, and many more first-of-year species too. Spring is always the most exciting time of year for birding, and more rare species will continue to show up in the coming months. If you liked this video, let us know by giving it a like and a comment. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Birding.